A lot of authors, when they set out to write a series, they work out what they call the arc of their main character. So they have an idea when they start of the journey that their protagonist is going to go throughout the series. Well, when I started writing Cut Short, as I explained, I had no idea that this would ever be read by anybody else, let alone published, and I certainly didn't envisage it being the first in a series of books. So I hadn't worked out the whole journey that my detective was going to travel along through the series. She's introduced in Cut Short. When my publisher signed me up, it became apparent that this was going to become a series, and it's now turning into what I hope is going to be quite a long-running series, because there are at least another 3 books in the pipeline and probably more after that. So I've had to begin to think quite carefully about where Geraldine is going to go through the series, and that's been quite good fun, because in a way I'm going on the same journey as my readers. When I write each of my books, I do work out the plot for the murder investigation quite carefully in advance, because writing crime thrillers, there has to be a detailed plot and everything has to work out in the end. But with Geraldine, she's kind of evolving and she's growing on me, and I'm getting to learn more about her as I'm writing. I introduced her own backstory in Road Closed, and this is a story which dates right back to her childhood. It's very much in the background of the books, because the main thrust of the books is, in each case, the murder investigation, and most of my critics use words like page-turners to describe my books, because they're fast-paced murder investigations. That's what I write, murder stories. But in the background there is Geraldine's story, which is rumbling along, and it's actually quite exciting, because a lot of my fans now are saying they want to know what's going to happen to Geraldine. They want to know what's going to come next in her life. And I do now have an idea of where she's going to end up. And I have a scene from what is probably going to be the final book in the series, which will be around book 20. But I'm not quite sure yet how she's going to get there. And I do think when you write a book, you're taking your readers on a journey, and if you don't know where you're going to end up, then how do you know when to point your readers in the right direction, when to take them on a little detour? So I do have an idea of where she's going to end up, but I really don't know what's going to happen to her along the way. We will be discovering that together.